Hello, and welcome to your Parcc Math Lesson number 2. By now, some of you may have already taken the Parcc. It is a state math and reading test. There are 2 testing windows. The first one is between March 9th and 27th, and the second window is May 9th through the 12th. If you haven't tested and don't know your date, be sure to contact your advisor. We'll be reviewing a Parcc sample item today. Try out some Parcc test features and complete the quiz. This is a sample item. The functions f of x equals 1 minus x and g of x equals 0.11 over x squared are defined for all values of x greater than 0. The graphs are shown in the coordinate plane. So f of x is represented by the blue line. So this equation here is represented on the coordinate plane as this blue line. G of x is represented in the coordinate plane as this red curve. Part A. Explain how you can use the graph to find the solutions of the equation f of x equals g of x. In your answer, provide the approximate solutions, value of the solution. So where f of x equals g of x, that means that they both contain the same point on the line. So if you look at both of these graphs of these functions, at what 2 points do they both share a point? So you can see that f of x and g of x both share this point A and point B. We call this their intersection point. Now let's go ahead and find the coordinates by approximating their values. So we're going to approximate the coordinate values at point A and point B. So you can see that this number line is going from 0 to 1. This point lies in a little bit less than halfway in between point 4 and point 5. So for my x-coordinate of point A, I am going to call that 0.44. It's just a little below 0.45, halfway in between the 0.4 and 0.5. Now this coordinate is our y-coordinate, and it looks like it's a little bit above the halfway mark between 0.5 and 0.6. So I'm going to label my y-coordinate as 0.56. So point A, my first solution is 0.44, 0.56. Point B, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. It looks like it is halfway in between 0.8 and 0.9. So I'm going to call my x-coordinate 0.85. But I also need a y-coordinate for the point on a plane, and it looks like it also is about halfway between 0.1 and 0.2. So I'm going to call this one 0.15. Part B. Write the values of f of x when x equals the solutions from part A. So when x equals the solution, so we had a solution. First of all, f of x, remember, is the function 1 minus x. Okay? So one of our solutions for x was 0.85. So what is f of 0.85? We substitute 0.85 into my equation for x and solve. So 1 minus 0.85 is simply 0.15. Does this look familiar? Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for our second solution for x, point B. X coordinate was 0.44, so substitute 0.44 into our equation for x. 1 minus 0.44 is equal to 0.56. So you can see that substituting these values, our x values, gives us our corresponding y values. So it gives us our corresponding y value at that point on the graph. I'm just going to abbreviate value. Part C. Let the function h of x be defined as h of x equals f of x minus g of x. What are the coordinates of the points on the graph of h of x when x equals the solutions from part A? Explain your reasoning. So first of all, we're going to use some of the information that we have gained from parts A and B to solve this problem. And then we'll talk about what it means. So we're going to write the function as they give us h of x is equal to f of x minus g of x. They want to know what the coordinates of the points on the graph of h of x are when x equals the solutions from part A. So we're going to substitute first our x coordinate for point B, in this case, into h of x. So we have h of x 0.85 equals f of 0.85 minus g of 0.85. We already solved for what f of 0.85 is. F of 0.85 is 0.15, so now we just need to solve for what g of 0.85 is. So we're going to do that here. So we already have what f of 0.85 is. And so now we're going to solve for what g of 0.85 is. So we need to use, in this case, our calculator because g of x is defined as 0.85 over 0.11 squared. So we're going to go ahead and use our we can use our scientific calculator for this. You just click on this button on top to open it up, and we're going to click 0.85 on our calculator, divided by, and then 0.11. And this little button here where it says x squared is going to square 0.11. After you hit equal, that's going to give you your solution for g of 0.85. Let's try that now with g of 0.44. So we're now substituting, oh, I'm sorry, I did this was backwards. So this is actually going to be 0.11 over 0.85 squared. And then we're going to type that into the calculator, 0.11 divided by 0.85 squared for 0.5622. Now let's try this again. Now with 0.44 as our x coordinate, what does g of x equal at 0.44? So we're going to substitute 0.44 into g of x for x. So 0.11 divided by 0.44 squared into the calculator, and what do you get? I'll let you solve that on your own. Okay, so after we have solved for g of x, so for f of 0.85 and g of 0.85, we can substitute those values into h of 0.85, since h of x equals f of x minus g of x. So f of 0.85 equals 0.15 minus 0.522. Solve that, and we have negative 0.0022. Now we're going to do the same thing. Now we have a new coordinate point at h of, so h of 0.85 equals negative 0.002. So at 0.85, we have a y value of 0.0022. We're going to do the same thing now for h of 0.44. Substitute values in for what f of 0.44 equals and what g of 0.44 equals. Subtract those two and we get negative 0.0082 for a point of 0.44 and negative 0.0082. So now, if you think of what g of what both of these values mean, we have 0.5682 here. And we have 0.56 here. So you remember, f of x and g of x share this point, okay? So it looks like this point is rounded to the nearest 10,000th place, a little more exact. So if we subtract the two of these, then we're going to have our error. And the same thing goes, I'm sorry, again, this one is going to be 0.1522, so as not to confuse everyone, 0.5122. So now at f of x and g of x share a point here as well at 0.85, 0.15. We estimated their value to be that value. So now if we substitute 0.85 into our equation, we get a different number. It's off by about negative 0.0022. So that would give us our error message. I would like for you guys to be able to go in and explore with Equation Editor, which helps you write out some of these mathematical functions like fractions. You can use the equal sign. It'll give you the negative and other math operators such as minus and plus. So you can go in to the Parcc sample items and practice with Equation Editor there. So that's where you're going to be using it, is in your explanations and solutions to the problems. So you might say something like this. So since they're supposed to be the same point, this would give me my error. My estimate for point A was 0.44, 0.56. This is off by negative 0.0082. So a more accurate point, if I subtracted 0.0082 from my original estimate, would give me a more accurate value of 0.4318 and 0.5518. Point B is off by negative 0.0022. So the more accurate point would be 0.8478 and 0.1478. So you're going to put all of this information. It might look something like this when you're done, and you're going to include your explanation. So you're going to want to be able to feel comfortable with Equation Editor using the scientific calculator to help you solve some of these steps, and to put in your explanation as well for complete points. I hope this helps, and you may go in and take your quiz. Thank you.